So I'm asking to this model, what am I doing on my Japan trip on day 6? So it is saying that I couldn't find specific detail about your activity on day 6 of your Japan. As we know, our current LLM model doesn't have the data what we are going to do in our personal life or whatever our business data or anything. So today we are going to make our LLM model more smarter, but by giving our own personal data or whatever chunks of data that you have, you want to train your LLM model on that. So let me show you my itinerary. So this is the itinerary which I created using ChatGPT for this demo purpose only. So as you can see there, this is the itinerary for 10-day part. So there is a day 1 till kind of a day 10. Let me make my LLM model more smarter with RAG and train this itinerary data on that. So let me upload the file of this PDF itinerary. Let me submit it. And now my RAG has been created. So let me ask the same question. Now as you can see, I have got a detailed answer that what am I doing on my day 6. So it is saying that in morning I am visiting Fukushima Inari Taisha with its thousands of red torii gates, and afternoon and evening plan. So let's check in the itinerary. So let's go to the day 6. So in the day 6 we can see that we are exactly doing the same thing which our model has told us over here. So as you can see, it is giving us a pretty accurate answer for what question which we asked for our itinerary. So now let's proceed to the video and see how we can make our model more smarter using the RAG. So this is the basic setup which we have right now. So we have normal on chat message received, and this is AI agent over here. So I can ask any question like hey, and it will reply us, hey, how are you? This is a normal LLM behavior. So I am using OpenAI LLM 4.1 mini, which I am using over here. It is giving us the proper answer which we get. So now we want to make this model much smarter by giving us a personal data. So we are going to use the vector database for this, and I'm going to use the Supabase for this. And also we'll be having the memory so that it remembers what we had our past conversation on. So let me show you how we can set up the Supabase from the scratch. So this is the website of supabase.com. Visit the supabase.com website over here and proceed to sign in. And we need to create the account. So for that we need to sign up now. And you need to enter the email ID over here. So after writing the email and password, do the sign up. And now we need to confirm our email ID. So you might have got the confirmation email. So do the confirm email. And once you have done with that, now we need to create the organization. So I'm keeping everything as a default over here, and we are going to go with the free plan. So I think free plan is more than enough for us to get started. So as you can see, we have unlimited API request, 50,000 monthly active user, and 500 MB database size. So for us to get started, this is way too much. Okay. So let's go over here and click on create organization. So once that is done, so now we need to create the project. So I'm keeping everything as a default over here, and you need to enter this password over here. So please remember this password because we'll be requiring this password to enter in the n8n. So write it somewhere and keep it with you. And the region, select the region whichever is the near to you. So I'll select my region, which is kind of Mumbai, and click on create new project. And we need to enter the password over here, and then click on the create new project. So after creating project, this might take some time for this project status to turn green. So once that is turned green, it means that your project has been set up properly. So now once this is done, we go to n8n workflow again and add a memory node which will be using the Postgres chat memory. So because Supabase has the Postgres inbuilt inside it, so we need to configure it. So for that we need to create a new credential. We need to have the host, database, user, password, and the port over here. So for that we'll go to Supabase. In the left hand side we'll go to project setting, click on database. As you can see over here, connection string has been moved, so we need to click on connect. And we'll be requiring the transaction pooler over here. Direct connection we don't require because direct connection make a persistent connection over here, but our request is something which will be coming and going over there. So for that we'll be requiring the transaction pooler over here. And when click on view parameter, we can see all the parameters which are required in the n8n. So let's click on host, copy, and now paste it over here. We need database and user. So for that we can see database name is proper. We need to copy the user. Let's paste it. Enter the password which you have entered while creating the account. Now once that is done, let's go to the pool mode. We don't require that. We require port. We'll copy the port and we'll come at the end, enter the port, and let's save it. So as you can see, connection testing has been done successfully. So that's good. Let's change the name. Write the appropriate name by which you can remember it. Let's save it. As you can see, we have the session ID. This session is coming from the chat model over here. So we can see this is session ID by which the session will be created. So if you go again inside this, we can see that by default that using this table name, all our memory will be stored over here. And the context window is 5. It means that the last 5 messages it will remember. If you want to see what does this mean, if you go into Supabase inside the table editor, so you can see currently we have no table. So the n8n with the Supabase will create the table automatically if it is not there. If it is there, it will put the value inside there. So let's test it again. So let's come over here and write, let's send this message. So now as you can see, it has gone inside this Postgres over here. Then it got the reply and it send message over here again. So let's go to Supabase again. Let's refresh it. So now as you can see, the table has been created. When you click on it, you can see two messages. One is a human message which we had sent, okay, what is the weather today, and one is the message which we have got reply from the LLM model. So as you can see, I don't have the access to real-time data, and if you come in anytime, we have the same message over here. So it means that our memory model is working perfectly fine. So now it's time to make our LLM more smarter using the RAG technique. So RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. Retrieval means we retrieve the data whichever we want. Augment means we add something if you want to add something, if you want to modify the data, and then we generate the answer. Using that technique, we generate the answer. So for example, if I'm asking, how does my Japan itinerary look like on the day 6? So it means that when I ask this question, using this question, first it will retrieve the data, whatever kind of data is matching, then it will augment upon that, and then it will generate the response whichever we want, and we'll get the answer. So I'll show you in the demo how does this everything work, but this is the RAG technique which is used. So the technique which I'm showing you today is a very minimal and naive technique. It means that it works for the small kind of document, but if you want to have advanced technique, so there are so many different kind of concepts which comes along with the RAG, you can use that. So today in this video, my purpose is to show you what is RAG and how we can use in n8n. But apart from that, it's your job to look outside, do some research, and how does it look like. If you want me to make some kind of a different kind of video on RAG, just share your thought in the comment so that I can make a video on that. So let me show you how we can make RAG in the n8n. So first, now as you can see, we have the data. So now as you know, we have the memory block over here. So now our job is to have our data, which is the my Japan itinerary in the Supabase vector database over there. So for that, we need to load the data. So for that, we'll use the form submission trigger. So for that, we'll come over here and we'll search for form, n8n form, and we'll have a new form. And this we don't know anything. It kind of we only want data. So let's give title as knowledge base. I don't want to give any description. If you want, you can write it over here. And we want to have form element. I'll write the as a data over here. And form element, I will take the file as an input and no multiple file. I only want PDF. Let's test step it. And we can see everything is working properly. Let's take this file, open, and we can see our title is there, data is there, the file is there. If you submit it over here, we can see we have got the data. If you view it, we can see we have our Japan itinerary over here. That's working perfectly fine. So now once we have got the data over here, it's kind of in binary format. We need to extract the data from this PDF file. So for that, we'll use the another node, which is kind of a extract. If you go over here, search for extract from file. It is a PDF file, so extract from PDF. So now we have data over here. As you can see, we have this data. Input binary field name is data. So let's do the text tab. So as you can see in the text part, we have got all the text which is there inside a document over there. So now once we have got all the data, so now it's time to add this data and create the embedding of it and store inside the vector database. So if you don't know what is embedding means that we are making our text data into the numeric format, so that whenever we compare the whatever question we are asking, let's for example, I am asking how does my Japan itinerary look like in day 6? This question will get converted into the numeric format. Okay, and whatever data which we have got right now inside the Japan itinerary which we received, then all the data will get converted into the numeric format. So my question and this all data will get compared in the numeric format, and whatever relevant chunks are identified from the itinerary, it will come back. This numeric will get again converted into the text part and we'll get the answer using the LLM mixing and all. So from this you can see that how does this work like Retrieval Augmented Generation. Retrieval means using my question, I'll retrieve the relevant chunk from the Japan itinerary. I got that chunk. Now I'm augmenting. Augmenting means like I will use my LLM to just do some augmentation over here. And generation means converting that embedding back to the normal text format and giving us the answer. So let me show you that. So let's click on this thing. Let's search for the Supabase. So now we want to generate it from Supabase vector database. We want to add document to the vector store over here. So we'll click on this part. We need to have a Supabase account over here, create new credential. Now we need the host and service roles. So this credential will be getting from a different place. This is not same as earlier which we did for the memory part. So for this thing, we'll go to Supabase. In the left hand side, go to project setting. In the data API. Now as you can see, this is the project URL. Let's copy this and let's paste it over here. Let's go back again. Now in the service role, you can see we have this secret part over here. So you reveal this and copy and paste it over there. So reveal, copy, and we paste over here. Let's do the save. We'll get the connection as successful. So we got the green part over here. That's good. That you are good to go now. So now once we have got, So you can see it asks for, Supabase is asking for the embedding and document. So embedding, I'll be using the OpenAI embedding. So let's search me for OpenAI embedding. And by default, it uses the text embedding 3 model. It means that a small embedding it will be creating. So there are different embedding techniques. So for if you want, you can search online. This is a vast concept. Simpler term, I can say that embedding means converting text into the kind of a numeric format. Small means small numeric data will be created. If you have the large embedding model over here, it means the large chunk of data it will be required. It will require more space but more accurate. Okay, so this is done. So now once we have got the embedding, it's time to get the document. So for document, we will using the default data loader. It has the kind of input all data, whatever data which we have over here, it will input all the data. Okay, it requires text splitter. Text splitter will be using recursive text splitter. This all thing is kind of new to you. I can understand that. If you want, I'll ping the video over here. You can watch my reg video, which I explain everything in detail, how each and everything works. Okay, so this is done. So now let's do the test step over here. But you will get an error. So let's see what's the error. If I do the test step, we can see we have got some error. It is asking to choose a table from. So currently we have only one table, which is kind of n8n chat history. So this table stores the chat history. We can't store the document over here. So for that, we need to create the document table over there. So for that, what we'll go to docs over here. Inside this, we can see we have quick start. So let's click on that. Let's copy this whole part. We'll copy this. We'll go to Supabase. So let's go to the SQL editor over here. Inside this, we can see new SQL snippet. Let's click on that. Paste paste whatever we have copied. Run it. As you can see, it is success. It is showing a success. Let's go to the table editor. Inside this, we can see the document table has been created. So now we have this table. So let's go to the n8n. Close this and open this again so that it get reloads. So now we can see that we have document table over here. Let's select that and let's do the test step. So now as you can see, the embedding has been created properly. So let's go to the Supabase. Let's refresh it. So as you can see, all the data which we have in the Japan itinerary, for all the data, for all the context, the embedding has been created. So as you can see, this embedding is kind of numeric value which we can see with chunks of different data over here. Okay, and there are some metadata to see from where we are getting the data. So from which page we are getting this data. This is done. So let's go to the workflow. So now this part is done. So now over here we need to add the tool of Supabase. Now inside this we want to see what we can call. You can write anything. We'll write as trip data. Description, you need to mention when our LLM model should call this tool over here. So we can write call this tool when require trip details. Okay, from which table we need to call? We need to call from document table. So we need to include the metadata. Okay, that's done. So now I think everything is ready. So we need to only add the embedding part over here. So for that, we'll use the same embedding which we used to create this vector database, which is the OpenAI part. So we'll click on this embedding OpenAI and we have the small embedding over here. So that is done. So to clean it up, we can click on this part. So everything is properly cleaned. So now let's run this part now again. As you can see, I have written over here, how does my Japan itinerary look like on day 6? Let's send it. As you can see, it is went through all this thing. Now it is going through the vector database also and got the data. It is augmenting and now it is generating the answer. So as you can see, we have got this answer properly. If you want to see the execution flow over here, inside this we can see now log part over here. So you can see first it went to the memory part to get the previous conversation which we had. Then it went to OpenAI to ask this question, what is the weather today? Okay, so OpenAI answered, I don't have access to real-time weather. So then it went to Supabase part. So because it don't have the answer, it went to the Supabase to see the itinerary data. So Supabase went through all the data which we have. It written the 4th chunk, because if you go inside this, if we click on this part, so you can see we are limiting to 4. So it means that it will give me 4 most relevant chunks of data. Okay, so that's the reason in this part, if you go to logs in the Supabase, that's the reason we are getting 4 chunks of data over here. Okay, so now once we got chunks of data, we are embedding it to proper format. Now OpenAI has that data. So as you can see, OpenAI has all the tools data over here. Now it is now generating proper answer, and it is storing the answer back to the Postgres chat memory, and it is giving us the answer over here. This is how the normal reg work like. This is as I mentioned, this is a very normal reg which we created. So there are so many different techniques out there which you can leverage to have a very proper accurate reg over here. So I think I made my point clear how we can make a reg using Supabase and n8n. So if you like this video, please share it with the friend who are learning this technique, and comment down me what kind of a different video you want me to make. If you want me to make advanced reg, I can make that also. So if you like the video, please press the like button and subscribe to the channel. We'll meet in the next video. Till then, take care.